Hello, Bucks fans, and welcome into JS Online. I'm Kassidy, joined by Jim Owczarski here before Game 6 of Bucks Celtics. Jim, Bucks in 6 has become sort of a rallying cry around Milwaukee. Do you think today we get another chapter in that book?
Well, I mean, I'll have to remind everyone, I was right the last time we did this when I said first team to 100 wins. Unfortunately, that was the Celtics back in Game 4. Look, Bucks in 6 is a fun hashtag, and it's for the culture. Nothing will top last year's finals and winning a championship in that way. Although I will say, look, the Celtics are not like some of these other teams. The series hasn't been like some of these other series where the Bucks have been really good in closing it out. Yes, can the Bucks win tonight? Sure. They're a very good closing team. But Boston has already won here. They've already come back from 13-14 down in the fourth quarter without Robert Williams III, who's out again. I do think the Bucks will win. But I would not be surprised, Kassidy, though, if we are going back to Boston. I think the Celtics are a very good team. They've proven they can win here. I think it should be a good game. But, yes, I do think Bucks in 6.
You mentioned no Robert Williams. I know that you just met with Coach Mike Budenholzer. Has there been any word on Chris Middleton?
Not that he's willing to share.
He did say no more updates, right?
Yeah, there's no more update on the update to the non-update. So basically, Chris Middleton's been working toward a return. He has been on the court. He is getting court work in. Now the team hasn't, quote unquote, practiced, Kassidy, now that we're in this sort of every other day scenario. So what does court work mean? Could just be individual. Could be, as you can see behind us, there's coaches, doing some individual work like that. Who knows? But I do think the way it feels, and from my understanding from talking to some people with the Bucks, is that, should they advance, Chris Middleton being back on the court is more of a probability than not.
Advance meaning seeing him on the court versus Miami as opposed to Game 7?
I think if they lose and go to Game 7, there may be a workout. Can he go? Right? I don't know if that would be the case. I think Miami, yes. I think if they advance to Miami, I think Chris Middleton will play in Eastern Conference Finals. But if it's Game 7, that might be a little more tenuous because there is a level, right, of how does he feel? Can he play 20 minutes? Maybe, but he's going to need to do something before that, and that would mean a much more strenuous type of workout, I would guess, on the off day before Boston.
I have a feeling I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Is there any chance we would see maybe like 5 minutes of playtime for him tonight just to let him get in there and, take a hit, drive to the basket?
Well, on one hand, it makes some sense. No, I don't think tonight that would happen. It has nothing to do with chemistry or him being hurt. I think at this stage, Kassidy, I think it's if you're good to go, you're going to go, right? While there may be a minutes restriction in terms of is he going to play 40? No. He might be 15 to 20, but I don't think they would kind of do that little bit of piecemeal, especially if they could give him another 2 days of actual off day.
As I said, might want to see if he can take a hit. This series has been incredibly physical to the point that Giannis was bleeding on the floor the other night in Boston. Do you see that continuing again tonight, and will it get to a breaking point, or is this just how these two teams are going to continue to go at each other?
I mean, it'll be it'll be physical. Look, Boston loses, their season's over. And so you have a good team that's desperate, that knows it's going home if it wins. That's a really tough combination because otherwise, look, the series has been very physical. It's been very difficult anyway. So all those factors in, I think the Celtics are going to want to come out and establish themselves and show they're not afraid, all those things. Now, does it go next level? No, because you can't, if you're the Celtics, you can't win if your best players are not in the game. Conversely, if you're the Bucks, same type of situation. You can't win if you react to a certain thing. So, no, and I think it'll still remain physical, But I would be really, really surprised if there was that sort of next level type of action.
We saw Drew Holiday on Wednesday mug Marcus Smart and then pick his pocket, just all sorts of things that are illegal in 38 states. How much of a confidence boost was that for him, and can we see that sort of performance again tonight?
You know, it's interesting because Drew will tell you he's always that confident. I can't help but think that hitting that three-pointer to tie the game late wouldn't make you feel good going into the next one. I think defensively, Kassidy, like, that's him. Like, I don't think what he did in the final 40 seconds or 30 seconds there changes his outlook on playing defense. But look, what did he miss? 15 shots before he hit that three? And he still took it, and he still made it. But will they come out today and shoot better? I don't know. The math says probably not. But if there is a carryover, it would be that. Like, the biggest shot of the night that he could possibly take, he made it. And that's a big thing going into potentially another close game.
Speaking of some of the big shots of the night, I don't know if we're giving enough credit to Pat Connaughton in those 2 free throws that he hit to really kind of he made it a 3-point game, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, how big was that? And again, just the same as Drew Holiday, how much can that carry over to tonight?
Yeah, Pat Connaughton, that's big because Pat is not always in that situation, right?
It was thrown into him, so it was almost assuming he would be the one to take him, right?
He definitely bailed him out. I don't know if he was the initial read on the inbound. Giannis, the Boston fans were hoping for a 5-second call. Look, and this is the bad part of not having an open locker room. Like, in that scenario, Pat Connaughton would sort of get his moment in the sun, and unfortunately he didn't, and he couldn't because that's just the way it was. But yeah, 2 huge free throws. And look, Pat's made some big shots, but without a doubt, I would say the 2 biggest free throws of his career, considering the stage and what it meant. It meant the Celtics were going to have to hit a 3 to tie. The Bucks couldn't lose because in that moment. So yeah, great points to bring that up. And I guess it shows, again, Bobby Portis, the tip back. The core players, Kassidy, from last year's championship team, they're not afraid of that moment. They're not afraid of that pressure. Regardless of what happened the previous 47 minutes and 30 seconds, they've been there. And I think Game 5, Pat Connaughton's free throws, I don't know if he's still behind us, that's why I was looking. Pat Connaughton's free throws, Bobby Portis sticking with it, I think that just showed why they won a title a year ago.
That's a very good point, and something that might have come up with other teams as well, is that this team, the past couple of years, through last year's finals, even the year before, in the bubble versus the Heat, they've been through some real, battle royale matches. Are we seeing the payoff for that now?
I think so, especially in those kind of moments. And then also the fact they get blown out in Game 2, and they're able to come back. They're able to blow a 12, 13-point lead at home in Game 4 and come back and win. Those aren't, in a series, those aren't easy things to overcome. And if you're looking to be like, oh, that's not true, well, just look at Philadelphia and Miami. They came out and laid an egg in Miami, had a chance to win in Game 6. That team just folded. Why that is, who knows? It's that thing that you can't really put a finger on, and the Bucks aren't that kind of team because they've been through it, the good and the bad, and they know what it feels like really in a full space mentally. And yeah, Kassidy, I think, look, the Celtics are very good. The core of this team has been to multiple conference finals. Like, they know how to win multiple rounds of playoff games. They know how to close it out, which I think is what makes this series so tough. But yeah, I think that little bit, the Bucks have that advantage.
We've already seen a couple of Game 7s on the horizon in this round of the playoffs. Possibly another one here tonight, or in this series, or possibly the Bucks closing it out. You mentioned Boston was a big stage, possibly even bigger tonight. I know Matt LaFleur is in the house somewhere here. We'll see if we can track him down. It's also Friday the 13th. So maybe some superstitions coming into play for this win. Jim, I'm going to come back to you one more time for your, I know you don't want to give a prediction, but can you make some sort of guess like you did? You were right on the money the other night about first team to 100. So what is it tonight?
Yeah, I won't go with that. I feel like, though, that's almost true. It was not the case in Boston. Boston hit 100 first last game. I do think the Bucks win. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, but I do think they win. And look, I feel like we're going to see – so Giannis and Drew are going to do their thing. Okay. I do think this is – you're going to see a Grayson Allen or a Pat Connaughton kind of have that night. I don't know why I feel that way necessarily. And I don't know if that means – I don't think that's 25 points either. But I think – to your point of Pat's free throws, I think one of those guys is going to kind of have that moment that they rise up and you can look back and say, that was a big deal. That's what helped the Bucks win.
Whatever happens, Jim will be here to cover it for you all, along with our colleagues, Ben and Lori. So stay tuned to JS Online for full coverage of Game 6 as the Bucks get ready to take on the Celtics here at 6:30 in Pfizer Forum. Thanks, guys.